Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back again. This is Cureton, senior journalist from XR Today, and as always, bring you the latest and greatest from the VR, AR, and XR industries. We're going to be speaking to some esteemed guests today. We have, firstly, Phillip Ruenprom. He is the software product manager of ARVR solutions at Lenovo. And we also have Mr. Preston Platt. He is the chief technology officer of Rock Paper Reality. We're going to have a very interesting discussion here today. So it's a pleasure to have both of you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so we have many things that we want to discuss about using both Lenovo solutions and Rock Paper Reality, what they're doing in the immersive space for their clients. So I guess the first thing we want to talk about is how to advise those seeking to integrate extended reality technologies in the workplace. Preston, I wanted to know if you could ask a little bit about that, then we'll jump over to Phillip to get his perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, so, I think one of the great things about RPR is that we have both a consulting agency and a development agency. So a lot of the times what we do is we kind of dive into what are your needs first. What I like to do is specifically attack a smaller kind of subset of use cases inside of whatever enterprise customer, whatever customer there might be, right? And say to yourselves, okay, if we are going to integrate XR, how do we attack the thing that is the most viable candidate for XR today, right? And then I think one of the greatest parts about the Lenovo product offering is it's a giant ecosystem, right? You've got AR headsets, you have VR headsets, you have tablets, you have laptops, you have a whole ecosystem you can work with. So it's kind of like, how do we take the baseline of what you need and then build XR into it in kind of a simple way and make it attainable?
Excellent. How about you, Phillip? What would you say about that?
Well, no, it's great. RPR has been a great partner with us. They've been able to help us and develop the different types of use cases that we can show off to our prospective B2B customers. I mean, I think the biggest part of XR today is that onboarding XR devices isn't the same as everything else. You have so much MDM management out there, but what Lenovo brings with our ThinkReality platform is the ability to give you a lightweight management to allow you to onboard devices such as our ThinkReality VRX as well as our A3 to be able to transfer these applications onto the devices easily and be able to manage them. And RPR has been able to say, hey, here's something that we have that we can push out to the device right away.
Absolutely. And those mobile device management programs and platforms are going to be instrumental to making all of it a success when you want to roll out, a specific solution. I was going to ask, again, also to Rock Paper Reality is that, what are some of the steps that are needed to assess a client's needs and requirements for these types of solutions?
Yeah, I mean, it could be everything from what sort of infrastructure is already there, right? Because if you have no infrastructure already in place, then the job is a lot harder and sometimes easier because then we get to guide the whole process. But really, it's just kind of understanding where they are, where they want to be, and then advising, to Philip's point about the array of, of product offerings that you have there and what is the best one to at least start with, be my answer for that.
Brilliant. And I was going to ask you, there's something I wanted to ask about that, because a lot of these clients that you have are looking for upskilling kind of solutions to help their employees to kind of get the skills they need to be deployed on site to learn more about the technologies or the things or the skills that they need for their job. So for you, how do most clients seek to train and upskill themselves? And also, what metrics do you use to make those improvements for them, either qualitatively or quantitatively?
So when it comes to upskilling or training, right, when you use an XR platform, it's A, far more immersive, and B, you can have a lot of metrics that go into, okay, if somebody missed something, we can flag that. The analytics behind it are incredible, and you don't need anybody there to handhold the process, right? So you actually lower the workforce for how many people you need to train. You get far better analytics on understanding what's more obvious and what's not. You can change your training system based on that. And and in general, immersion, right? And I think that's the coolest part, I think, is kind of getting that off-site ability to then feel like you are on-site, right?
Definitely. And yeah, is there anything on the Lenovo side that you could add to that, Philip, about the best way to kind of
No,
find
not
those?
not at all. I think Preston hits it right, the nail right on the head where he talks about it, where you don't have to bring in the past, you had to bring everybody back into HQ and then train everybody. But now with the headsets, you can send them out to different places. You can have training at different times that are conducive to better learning. And RPR provides those demos. And that's what's been great about our relationship is RPR can do so many different things in terms of allowing us to show off our devices. They can show. I think they had one where it was an oil rig. They had one where it was a shopping training for retail. I mean, it just branches off, and that's what's been great about it is that it really showcases our hardware's ability with their software.
Yes, and another thing I wanted to jump in on is that it showcases the importance of having a good client relationship whenever kind of making these, immersive solutions a reality. No pun intended, but having that good dialogue between customers and clients is important. So that way, the end user, who's going to be like a lot of these students training, get the solutions that they need and that they can use to constantly upskill themselves as they move in their careers. So I was going to ask a quick question also to Rock Paper Reality. I was going to ask, there's developing compelling content that's going to be a very important part of what you do with your clients. How do you use compelling content to boost engagement rates for your trainees? And what kind of things do you do to design the curricula?
Yeah, so I think one of the greatest parts about like rock paper reality in itself is that we've got a team that's been here for 15 years in the space, right? So we've been really big into optimization. How do we make content look as good as possible, and how do we make it run on any hardware? I think probably the most important thing when it comes to compelling content is how do you address the need of kind of hyper realism in a lot of these use cases where maybe certain other places lack that. And I do think, and I will always stand by high immersion and really realistic and staying on the cutting edge of how you integrate these hyper realistic elements is kind of how you keep that compelling in general.
Definitely. And yeah, it's also important to have the right hardware for it as well as the right solutions. And I know with the ThinkReality platform, they're able to do that and integrate them seamlessly across all the different devices. Is there anything, Philip, that you wanted to
Yeah.
explain maybe about the mobile device management that would allow these kinds of content to go across different groups of people?
Yeah, so our Think Reality mobile device management is designed specifically for our VRX. It's all the VRX devices are pre-provisioned at the factory, so when you get it into their hands, they're able to just start running with it. We're able to push out RPR's software to it just to be able to demo it, as well as any other vendor that we've been working with. We have a list of ISVs that we've been currently working with because they've seen some of the RPR demos saying, wow, there's stuff that we can do and we can modify our own offerings to be able to provide this secure solution on our Think Reality MDM.
Excellent. And another thing I wanted to ask you specifically, Philip, about the ThinkReality platform is there like a step-by-step process needed to kind of help with these integrations? And like how easy is it for them to integrate the ThinkReality platform? I guess both of you can answer that, I guess, from the end user side and from the vendor side.
Okay, well, from the vendor side, each device is already pre-provisioned on the device so that when an end user gets the device, doesn't matter if it gets sent directly to the end user or to their corporate environment, it's all ready to go. They log into our MDM mobile, they log into our MDM in the browser. They're able to claim each of the devices. And then if they want to, they can set up their own policies as well as push out applications they want. So if there's the RPR APK, they can push it out to the devices they want. They can determine which devices get it and which ones don't. They can do asset management and say, okay, I've set up a group in the US, I've set up a group in APAC, I've set up a group in the EMEA. You can do it that way and then determine which devices get what, as well as track them and determine how they're using them.
Yeah,
Preston.
and I think just to bootstrap off that, right, from the development side, the ThinkReality platform has this great ecosystem. We're working with OpenXR for us, and just like deploying is easy amongst devices, it's easy to deploy inside of that ecosystem, right? If I deploy to an A3 or if I deploy to the VRX, like the deployment process is great, and the integration between Unity and Unreal, like by using OpenXR, makes the platform insanely easy to use.
Excellent. And yeah, we have been seeing a lot of really great things, in Unreal Engine as well as with Unity that have allowed people to work either at the industrial level, creating the content for a lot of the people using it. And so they're really, really taking things to the next level with the way they can help customers like yourselves integrate those technologies into it. So speaking of which, there are a lot of trends that are taking place these days. And I wanted to know what kind of trends you guys were documenting in the immersive learning sector.
It's a difficult question. So because of COVID, and we're in the post-COVID era right now, everything's kind of moved to this distance learning. So a lot of universities, at least in the U.S., I'm sure around the world, have decided, besides just using our phones, our PCs, how do we get some of these students to be able to learn more, as well as be able to be immersed in this environment. So we've been working with a couple of schools like in North Carolina to say, here's some VRXs, where can we help you guys out? And they've come to us and we've been working with them. And so these are some of the trends that are coming. They're trying to figure out, we want to give students we want to give them an edge. And I think VR headsets are that edge. They're going to give these students the abilities to do things that required you to be in class, to be able to touch whatever they're working on. And now with the headsets, they're able to see that and say, okay, I can visualize it in my headset and be immersed all around it. So I'm in this 3D environment, and companies like RPR are providing that software to be able to do that.
And inside of some of those trends, right, AI is obviously a huge discussion point that's happening all over the place right now, and especially around avatars and kind of human-based interactions through avatars and kind of learning systems that happen inside of that. I think that XR in general is one of these great use cases where you can feel like you're maybe physically talking to an AI chatbot that doesn't feel like an AI chatbot anymore, and especially inside of learning. And you can kind of train it around the specific messaging you want to have. I also think that that's been really, really interesting and beneficial, and it's something that we are personally looking into a lot.
Absolutely. There's been so many that we've been following, like, for example, generative AI, being able to create custom content on the fly for a lot of these different companies. We've also seen a lot more predictive analysis of some of the, learners when they decide to take a course. Then they can go back. The analytics engine can actually take in and see their progress and then find new ways to target the content to react to them. So there's so many possibilities. Like, there's a really, really strong relationship now between the teacher and the student. I think we haven't seen in many, many years. Any closing statements that you wanted to make about this prior to us, concluding our conversation for today? Start with Phillip.
No, thanks. No, I do really appreciate the time. Just wanted to, mention that, and thank you very much. I'll give it off to Preston.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I think as a closing statement, we've been having a lot of fun with the Lenovo team and the ThinkReality side of this. The ecosystem is growing rapidly and it's growing fast, and it's been really enjoyable to grow with it. And it's just been fun.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much.
And yeah, thank you again.
Okay, lovely, lovely. Once again, everyone, we have been speaking to two amazing people to chat about immersive learning. This is Phillip, Ruenprom, Software Product Manager of ARVR Solutions at Lenovo, as well as Preston Platt. He is the Chief Technology Officer for Rock Paper Reality. Once again, my name is Cureton, Senior Journalist for XR Today. And if you'd like to follow more conversations like this, please follow at the XR News hashtag on Twitter and LinkedIn. Thanks so much for joining. Keep following the news, and until next time, bye now.